Alright, in this video I'm attempting to beat Chimps mode with Bloons and Moabs moving at 3 times their normal speed. I thought this would be an interesting challenge, and honestly I think it's a lot of fun just to play some of these challenges in level editor mode. Being able to just retry last round is truly such a lifesaver. Really hate to get to around like 98 on Chimps run and then lose and have to restart all over because he like mistimed an ability or something. So yeah, these have been kind of fun, and this will be available. I'll have like the code to the challenge below if you want to give it a try yourself. If you want like an additional challenge, you can maybe try beating it without a hero. I don't know if it's actually possible or not, since I found this to be like reasonably difficult, nothing too crazy, but still somewhat of a challenge. And yeah, so 3 times speed, that's pretty fast. The start, also this map is 1 2 tree, the new one, which I think is a pretty fun map just because like there's a whole bunch of different buffs that you can use, and like certain buffs are going to be really good with certain towers. Like specifically, the 1 damage buff is going to be really good on a lot of towers because a lot of towers just do 1 damage, and so giving it plus 1 damage is going to double its damage. So you'll see me kind of using that a lot, and yeah, so double tack shooter start just for the end of round 10. I bought longer range on the sub just to beat round 9 since the start was pretty tricky. Had to get like the positioning just right on the sub so that I was actually able to beat round 6, and going straight into Druid with the plus 1 damage buff. Going for the 030 Druid because that also applies to the Vines, so that will make it deal 2 damage, and that's just really good. That will kind of solo up until the Moab. But the Moab also moving at 3 times speed makes round 40 quite tricky. But I think the biggest challenge was typically the end rounds. Like, that's usually what it is in Chimps, is rounds like 98, 99, 100 are really the most challenging, and they are, I would say, even more challenging in this one. So yeah, those are really the rounds to plan for. Luckily, I have Geraldo, so I can kind of cheese some of the rounds because you can use the Genie, which is really good for some of those rounds. And also, you have like a bunch of other stuff like the potions and I guess the sharpening stone, which is pretty nice with the tack shooter. Go for a tack zone. Yeah, getting Geraldo, I guess, early. A lot of the DPS I'm going for is with Robo Monkey, which actually got recently buffed in this last patch, just with the price decrease. I think it's $1,000 cheaper, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't realize that Robo Monkey was considered to not be that great, because I sometimes would buy them. Just go for the Geraldo. You can buy the, I don't know what it's called, but it pretty much discounts the Super Monkey because normally it costs what, 2,500, but instead you can spend 215 and then like 1,600 and you get a Super Monkey that way. And it also allows you to place the Dart Monkey on the smaller options because the Super Monkey, like the base area is so big that you can't place it on a lot of the spots on the map. Like the ones with the tree stumps, you can place towers in there, but they have to be small. I think it's called like the footprint. Also, I had to use glue on one of those rounds just so I could buy the vines. And yeah, that's one of those rounds where I died, and then I learned that, okay, well, I gotta use a glue, and it makes it so much easier instead of having to restart from the start. And I've got the sniper just for early camo, although I probably should have just bought the camo potion. I don't think it was really worth it for the night vision goggles. Didn't really make too much of a difference. I guess it's like pretty similar in price. Anyway, yeah, slowly unlock. There's the damage buff, so on that 16th plot of land, you can put a Dart Monkey and then make it a Super Monkey. And there you go. I think Plasma Monkey, I think its base damage is already just 1. And then, I mean, you're going to double its damage, which is pretty amazing. Also, just a generally good spot for it because it can really reach so much of the map in that spot. And then going for a Discount Village, get that 15% discount, which is pretty helpful, especially with Super Monkey because like the upgrades are quite expensive, so saving a whole bunch of money by going for the Discount Village. I maybe should have placed it a little more to the left so I could have just buffed the attack that I already have instead of having to buy another one later, but that's okay. Also, it might have been better because I could have bought like some other primary thing within range later. So maybe not the perfect run. I think there's room to improve. And there's a whole bunch of different strats I think you can do on this map to really like utilize the actual buffs. So I'm not the best player in the world at BT6, but I have watched a whole bunch of Chimps runs, and even though I can't beat the hardest Chimps runs myself, and I'm for some reason doing challenges instead, I don't know, still feel like I'm half decent at the game. I've been playing the contested territory recently because that's still going on. It's gotten a little bit stale. It's quite repetitive, and I feel like it's quite an investment doing 4 tickets every day. like if you actually spend time to optimize a tile, it can take like 30 minutes or more. And if you're spending 4 tickets, that's like 2 hours a day for 7 days in a row. That's a lot of balloons just for contested territory. I would recommend probably decreasing it from like 4 to 3 maybe. And also, like the rounds where you have to do like 90 rounds for a tile are just way too long. I feel like they've kind of changed it where like some of the banner tiles are only like 60 rounds or something. But yeah, that seems much more reasonable. Go ahead and get the Alchemist buff. It is not going to be within range of the village, but I just want to make sure it's targeted on the Super Monkey since that is going to be quite helpful as well. And then, yeah, I mean, round 40, here it is. It turns out all I needed was jungle drums, and that's just going to be barely enough to squeak through this Moab. It moves so fast that the Super Monkey almost misses. Originally, my plan was to just like max it out and go 5 times speed, but it turns out I'm pretty sure that's impossible. I don't actually know. Maybe if I tried it on logs, it would have been like more feasible, but man, 3 times speed was definitely difficult enough for me, and maybe 4 times speed is possible on logs. I could see that being possible. Anyway, going for a plutonium reactor because I don't have room to go double village. Normally, you get like a discount village, so you can get, I guess like a 030 village under the discount village, since that will save quite a bit, and also that would just give you camo detection and later like MIB for the DDTs. Anyway, I skipped forward a little bit just because like some of these rounds I actually just pretty much do nothing. Like I got the Robo Monkey upgrade, and then get the extra Alk buff upgrades. But the mid game, sometimes you're just saving up money for like a tier 5, and so it's not super interesting. So there will be more skipping forward. But now, time to go for. I got a 302 village, so I don't actually have camo detection, which is why I have the reactor, I guess. Kind of a weird way to get camo. I don't know if I should have gone for something different. Like, I could go for. Well, I don't even know. Like, what are the other options? Shimmer and like Signal Flare, I guess, are both okay. Skipping forward till around 60, the 50s I feel like are generally a pretty nice round or rounds to save up. So got to overdrive for more Moab damage, and then just going to be saving up for attack zone I think here. And it turns out this is going to be good since you don't really have to worry too much about like, well, I don't know. I guess just the rounds in general here aren't too much more difficult. It's just like waiting until the 90s for that power spike and trying to set up for that. But this is like normal speed. The balloons are just moving so fast that it looks like this is fast forwarded, but this is just how the game looks when you have 3 times balloon speed. And you can see that like the LEDs and everything are much more spaced out than usual. So yeah, just saving up the money, going for the tax zone. Round 64 can sometimes be tricky with the fortifieds, but not too bad. And then I'm going to just skip forward to round 75, kind of the next difficult wave when we start getting those multiple BFBs. It's like 3 BFBs, I think, right? Or is it 2? I'm not exactly sure. But not really a problem. You can see those ceramics. Round 76, definitely much more spaced out. And I just got another Robo Monkey in the +1 damage spot again, so going to be pretty helpful there, and a pretty good spot for it. And there's the tax zone as well. I guess I did not show me actually getting the upgrade during that. And another Alk buff. Alk buff, super good. And now we just save up money, I guess, until like the round, probably around 90 or so. Got a couple different options. Actually, I mean, you have so many options at this point. I'm not sure what tier 5 I actually want to go for. But in the end, I decided to go for a permaspike because that's just, it seems quite nice, good insurance. And then I guess I was worried about 78, the ceramics, since it seems like it's going to get past like the tax zone and a lot of the Robo Monkey before it gets decamoed. I'm not sure if it was actually necessary to take the glue there. Sometimes it's just a preemptive measure just in case. But, you know, if I'm playing on the level editor mode where I can just retry the round, I can just not place glue and see if I can beat it without using it. And then if I lose, I can just use the glue. But yeah, okay, so there's a different spots for the tack shooter here. So you have that's the +1 pierce spot, which I don't think is going to help the spike factory. But there's also a +1 damage spot in the 24, and that's also just much more towards the back of the map, which is obviously where you want spactories. But I decided to just go for the spot that gets the jungle drums. I think it's +15%. It might actually be, I remember looking at the wiki, and it might have not been +15%. It might have been like a weird number. I can't actually remember, but yeah, I don't know if it was worth it to sacrifice a little bit of the track just to get the extra attack speed. But it's also under the Alchemist, Because I forget if a Permaspike can actually hit DDTs. I don't think it can, unless if you get the what is it called? I forget. The second tier upgrade on the Alchemist that allows you to pop leads. So I think that's quite helpful. All right, and now what's going to be really helpful is a Moab Glue, because these Moabs move so fast that Moab Glue is going to be essential here. And I put it under the +1 Pierce, plus it's going to be under the Village, which also gives it an additional Pierce. So I think instead of just having 2, it should have 4 Pierce here, which pretty solid. I'm not actually sure if I'll need the Glue Splatter. I probably should take it anyway, just to get that up to 8 Pierce, I think. And yeah, just the double Robo Monkeys. This is on 3 times speed, remember. So like, I mean, you'd normally have 3 times more speed. So it doesn't look like it's doing super insane, but these Robo Monkeys are pretty insane. And they're critting a whole bunch too, which of course. And now just saving up for the Permaspike. Got the Super Ceramics at this point. And yeah, it doesn't seem too difficult. Just gonna need more support stuff. So I guess Sniper, go for the main Moab. That can be pretty solid. And then what else? Like Moab Press for some stalling. And I guess I could also take like an Embrittlement, put that next to the Attack Shooter. This is kind of where like the placement of the Village might have cost me, because I can't fit the ice under the Village if I want to put it in the same spot as the Tack Zone. So maybe that was a mistake. Slight positioning error. Go ahead and get the Permaspike, and that will help out so much, especially for this round 90, because the DDTs move so fast. At 3 times speed, they're going through the exit in like 2 seconds. I mean, you can see on fast forward here, and I mean, they got glued, so I guess not a great example, but not too difficult. Round 91. All right, yeah, and at this point, I can also buy the Sharpening Stone, since that lasts 10 rounds now. And I believe it also shows you in the recent update where it shows you how many rounds you have left on the buff or something like that. But +1 damage, +1 pierce on the Tack Zone should be quite helpful. And yeah, the Permaspike going to clean up anything else that gets past the defense. Going for the main Moab under the extra attack speed, so get the double attack speed. Go for the 5-2-0, because then it can hit multiple Moabs instead of the actual faster firing. It's a little counterintuitive, but apparently it's just straight up better. So that's pretty helpful. Learned a lot from watching like ISAB. Also watched like some CHIMPS runs and just some like generally really impressive BT6 runs where people are beating like Ravine Chimps with like cash left over and stuff like that. Darkest Dungeon Chimps, like that, the new map is insane to beat. I'm not even going to bother trying. Maybe in the level editor, but I don't want to just like follow walkthrough exactly. And 95, normally quite a difficult round, but Permaspike just absolutely so helpful, so clutch, making that round much easier. Get up the good abilities, so Sabo, slow everything down, and I believe I also go for a Snowstorm, just because, I don't know, I guess I wanted something to like stall out the rounds more, and being like, just stopping all the Moabs in his tracks pretty much, gonna be really helpful, give time to actually like kill them, which is necessary, for sure. I don't know if it was worth it to upgrade the Sniper I already had to the main Moab, or to place a new one under the Village and in the jungle drum spots. I felt like it was just overall better for that huge increase in attack speed. Yeah, so round 98 can be quite tricky, so this is where I get up a Snowstorm, and also I'm going to use some Geraldo cheese, because, I mean, I couldn't really beat it otherwise, and the Genie is just so clutch. So good for these later rounds. I'm not sure if Permafrost actually works with the Snowstorm anymore. I feel like at one point it might have worked, but I don't think it actually does anymore. I think you want to go for the bottom path when you go for Snowstorm. You can let me know in the comments if you want to. And then just get that potion for the +1 damage. Also, I think it deals bonus damage to Fortifieds later on as well, so that should be quite helpful. I maybe could have gone for like a Shattering Shells just to try to beat this round. That could have been maybe a way to do it as well. But yeah, just so many Moabs, and there we go. The Snowstorm, you can see its effect. It looks really, really helpful. So I think it was probably a pretty good move there to buy. And the Permaspike, like, it cleans up just so incredibly well, especially against like the fortified Super Cerams, which can be quite tricky. When they're moving at 3 times speed, round 99, more DDTs, but I guess just don't have to worry about it too much. I can just buy the Genie this round since it lasts 2 rounds. Used to last 3, but slight nerf. Probably much more fair. And round 100, I actually forgot to save up enough money for First Strike, I think. I don't know, maybe I could have afforded it, because it can be, it might be under the Discount Village, Actually, I don't think it is, but at least in the discount water spots, I'm not sure how much a first strike is, but good DD or good BAD damage or bad damage is just a master bomber. Or wait, no, it's a sticky bomb. Master bomb is the tier 5, yeah. So sticky bomb, that's like 500 damage every shot. And yeah, a bunch of Jerry's fire. Gonna be quite helpful. I think I might have refreshed the potion, and then once it pops, just gonna go ahead and sabo. And once it gets down to Moabs, use the snowstorm. I think I used the ability a bit early there, but it did not matter. Permaspike, able to clean up, and there we go. That's it. If you want to try this challenge out for yourself, you'll see the link in the description. And thanks for watching. See ya.